So I'm going to show you a small trick on this device, and what you do is you press the nav button, and this is the navigation screen, so you can kind of go in 3D and so on and so forth. So the first thing you're going to do is go in the menu, and there's an exit button right there on the bottom right, so you're going to exit iGo, whatever your navigation software is, and then you get to this shell. Now this is basically the built-in shell of the device. At this point, when you're in here, you can actually take the GPS card out because this is no longer used. But I'm going to keep it inserted here. Now there's a few things you can do. You can actually play music and so on and so forth. For example, if you take a look at playing audio, you can actually browse this card by hitting this button, and then you can go in the storage card, and it's reading off of the GPS card, not the music card. And that's because the WinCE environment of this device uses the left card, where if you hit nav again and you go on the radio, this environment uses the right card. So I'm going to go on the left, I'm going to hit exit, and one trick I do want to point out is that so this is the setting icon here. You kind of go in the menu. There's a whole bunch of other menu stuff, but you want to go into settings, and you can specify the executable path that is going to be executed when the shell starts up. So you can actually remove the automatic run. So if you remove this X here, then the navigation app won't be run automatically. But you can change the exe name, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. Go in the storage card. I'm going to go into my software, and I have a couple of things here. For example, the registry editor. Then you can exit, launch the GPS, and it will launch a registry editor instead. And now I can kind of browse through the registry. Well, this is not that useful, but just figured this is interesting. Then I can X out. Then I'll go ahead and change the path again, and I'll select Total Commander. This is a free shell application, and I'll hit the nav app again, and this is basically, now I can see all the files, and I can browse through the file system here. Now in the root of the file system, you can see the storage card, there's a flash here, and so on and so forth. They also provided a link, and with this app I can also run exes or links. So now I just enter the control panel of WinCE here, and there's not that much that's useful. There's a partition app, and you can see that there's the SD and the flash, and you can see my SD card is 1.86 gigabyte. Actually it's 2 gigabytes. And there's the internal flash, which is 16 megabytes. So 16 megs and for the internal flash. I'm going to exit this out. Okay, I'm going to exit the control panel, and now I'm back in the Commander app. So Total Commander. So now I'm going to go ahead and exit Total Commander. Another thing you can do is go in exe. I have a little game. It's called Slay, and then you can run the navigation again and just enter this game. So I don't, and there you go. Now I can just kind of drag and drop the map and kind of play around if I want to. Exit. The other last thing I want to mention is that I do recommend people going into the little gear here, and you can specify the language, English and so on. There's this button noise, and by default it's soft, and I do recommend putting it to no. Otherwise what you tend to happen is that this interface will generate a clicking sound, and I can activate it temporarily. And right now I'm on mute, but if you I won't do it here, but basically when you activate this clicking sound, it starts clicking every time you hit the screen, and one of the problems is that sometimes the nav software will also have a click, so you end up having double clicks. I find that annoying. I actually turn it off right away here, and I'm going to go back to the path. select the iGo 8 software. In this case, my path is, my EXC is called Mobile Navigator, and I'm going to put the auto run again. And then I can go back and hit the GPS button. Now this is a really nice screen. If you can customize iGo 8 with the screen you need. I find this one to be really nice, and it shouldn't take too long to load. Cool. By the way, if you go into menus and you say find point of interest, if for example around the GPS, if you don't have anything here, then you're lacking all the points of interest, and that's kind of bad. So for example, I have gas stations, and I can select the gas stations around, and they'll tell me the distance and so on. So by default, when I first got the unit, it didn't have any points of interest. That's kind of a big missing feature. The other thing is, if you happen to have speed cameras, then you will at some places you'll see speed cameras. Now I don't know if I'll be able to display one here, but because there's not many speed cameras around here. But there's a way to put in this database the list of speed cameras, and whenever you arrive to one of those points, it will kind of warn you. Anyway, that's a quick video on a quick hack of this device. Thank you.